Hello, and thanks for joining me again to read some more of the Dragons of Blueland. Well, yesterday that little baby dragon was off to find his family. Let's find out if he actually finds them or not. Chapter 3, The Men on the Slope. Oh, it's a lovely night for flying, thought the dragon as he hurried toward the north, urged on by a cool, brisk wind. The rain had stopped long ago, and a crescent moon shone palely. Looking down, he could see the outline of Seaweed Bay, and then a point of land called Due East Lookout. At this point, he must turn and fly directly westward over Seaweed City, across the spiky mountain range, and over the awful desert to reach the Blueland Mountains. In the heart of the desert, many people had tried to cross the desert and climb these mountains, but there was no water, and a treacherous sandstorm was raging all year round. It made traveling almost impossible. So far, no man had ever succeeded. "Ha! It won't be long now," sang the baby dragon as he passed over Seaweed City, over the coastal spiky mountain range, and then he started over the awful desert beyond. What a lovely night, he thought again. And then all of a sudden he realized how clear it was over the desert. Ah! Where are the sandstorms? Yeah, where are the sandstorms? A sick feeling came over him. In weather like this, a man might be able to cross the desert and get into Blueland. He might be able to see one of the dragons in the family, and he might learn the dragon's secret, that dragons are still living in Blueland. Faster and faster he flew, and way up ahead he could see a tiny light where the mountains rose straight up out of the desert. "Oh, men," thought the dragon, "if only I'm in time to warn my family." Onward he sped until he could see that the light was a blaze of a campfire on the rocky mountain slope. He counted 4, maybe 5 men sitting around the campfire. "I'd better find out what they're planning to do, so I know how to save my family," thought the dragon, circling down and landing below the men. He carefully picked his way through the huge rocks on the slope, and he hid close enough to hear what the men were saying. "If Frank and Albert and the rest don't find water soon, we're sunk. We'll have to get back pretty quick. What if that weather changes? After all, this is the first time, as far as anybody knows, that the weather has ever been clear over the desert. And I don't trust it to last very long." "Yeah, me neither," said another voice. Just then they heard a shout farther up the slope, and a man came running down toward the fire. "Well, did you find water?" they asked the man. "Water? I found loads of it. The mountains form a circle, and all the streams from these mountains flow through the center, and they make a huge lake. But that's not all we found." "You mean you found evidence that the great dragons of Blueland actually did exist at one time?" "Evidence?" said the man who had run down the slope. "Evidence? Why, we got 15 of the most beautiful dragons you ever dreamed of trapped in a cave that seems to only have one entrance. The rest of the men are guarding it right now." 15 trapped dragons in the cave, moaned the baby dragon. "Oh, that's my whole family. That's my 6 sisters and 7 brothers and my dear gigantic mother and father. Oh, I'm the only one left to save them. But why didn't they fly away?" Then he listened to the men again. How do you know that you have 15 dragons trapped in a cave?" "Well, we took them by surprise. They were asleep at the entrance. And then when they saw us, they just rushed inside. What a sight! 15 dragons!" One of the men whistled. "What did they look like?" "Well, they went so fast it was hard to see them, but there was one huge blue one, and one big yellow one, and 5 smaller green ones, and the rest were blue and yellow, and they all had red horns and red feet and gold-colored wings." "Oh, I can't wait," said one of the other men. "Why, every zoo in the country is going to want one of them." "Oh, no," groaned the baby dragon. He was scared to death, hiding behind those rocks. Chapter 4, In the Cave. As the men went about packing up and putting out the fire, the dragon carefully snuck up to the mountain slope. "It's a good thing they don't know that the cave has another entrance. but I wonder if I can still squeeze through it. It was the tunnel through which he had gone out of when he had run away to sit on a cloud. At that time, only he and his 2 youngest sisters were small enough to fit in it. Maybe, just maybe, I can still get through it, he thought to himself. He hurried up the dry, rocky slope of the mountain, racing to get to the tunnel before the sun broke over the rim of the desert. Oh, I've got to rescue them, he thought frantically. Over the gap between the 2 snow-capped peaks he galloped, and then down into the beautiful green alpine meadows in the center of the mountain circle. Here, streams were babbling down the slopes to a bottomless lake. Masses of wildflowers, butterfly weed, painted cup, all colors paraded along the brooksides. In the pasture, everywhere were giant snapdragon plants, looking more like bushes than flowers. But the dragon did not have time to stop and look at his beautiful home in the great high mountains of Blueland. Already the sun was reaching over the horizon. It was lighting up the whole sky. Oh, here it is, he panted as he dove into a thick clump of snapdragons growing over the entrance to a small tunnel. He had seen the men across the lake guarding the cave with an enormous net. I wish I knew what they were going to do next, he thought. It's too late now. I'm going to have to wait till dark. And he tried to pass into the tunnel, but the roots of the snapdragons had grown over the entrance and dirt had been washed in from above. Dig carefully. They might notice the stir in the bushes, he warned himself as he cleared the way. At last he could fit into the hole, and he started the long trip through the tunnel. I might get stuck any moment, he groaned, as the tunnel turned corners and gradually dug deeper into the side of the mountain. Always only just big enough for him to squeeze through. On and on he crawled, and just as he thought he would surely get to the large part of the cave, he got stuck. He pushed and wiggled and squirmed, but he could not get through. Tears rolled down his blue cheeks. I wanted so badly to see my family, he sniffled. Maybe they're near enough. Maybe they can hear me now. And then he whispered, Mother! Father! Are you there? Who's that? Asked a voice. It sounded like his sister, Eustatia's. Oh! It's Boris! Cried his mother. Oh, Boris! Boris! We thought we'd never see you again. Come into the cave. We're in terrible danger. Well, I know, said Boris the dragon, but I can't squeeze through the tunnel. Oh, I wish I could. But listen, whatever you do, don't go near the main entrance of the cave. Many men are waiting there with an enormous net. I don't know yet what they're planning to do with it, but I'll try to find out tonight, and if nothing happens before then, I think they're afraid to come in and get you. They don't know that we are really harmless. Anyway, keep calm. Count on me. I have a friend who could probably help, and if you don't hear from me soon, it's because I've gone off to get my friend. Now, I gotta go back out again. I must stay near the tunnel entrance so I can get out easily when I have a chance. Goodbye. And Boris backed out for what seemed like hours and hours until he came out among the roots of the snapdragon bushes. He peered through the leaves across the lake and he counted 16 men standing in a row outside the cave. A breeze sprang up across the lake and carried their voices over the water to him. They'll come out when they get hungry enough, said one man. Oh, but how do you know they won't be mean when they're hungry and have been trapped for some time? Me, I'd rather just go in and get them right now. Go in after them, said a third man. Why, we don't even know anything about that cave. Suppose it has another entrance. The dragons could have escaped already. And what about the pitfalls and the rock slides in there? We ought to know more about this before we go in. No, the thing to do is to leave 10 men here on guard and send the other 6 in search of other entrances and have a look at that rocky formation around there. Yeah, good idea, said the man who had come down the mountain to the campfire. The wind changed and the dragon could only hear confused sounds of talking, but the men seemed to be deciding who would stay and who would go. They'll find me for sure if I stay here, and I don't want to trap myself too, thought the dragon. Daylight or not, I'd better fly and go get Elmer. He'll know what to do if we can get back in time. Quickly, he fitted the snapdragon roots over the tunnel hole and arranged them carefully so that they wouldn't look like they had just been dug up. Then, keeping close to the ground, he crept through the green meadows and up to the gap between the mountain peaks. He took one last look at the beautiful blue lake surrounded by green meadows, felt quite sure he had not been seen, and then plunged down the rocky slope on the other side. Up in the air he flew, shielded from the eyes of the men by the circle of the mountains. And that's the end of chapter 4. Yikes, how terrible! The little baby dragon's entire family is trapped in a cave, and the men want to take them and sell them to the zoo. What do you think's going to happen next? Will the dragon be able to get Elmer and help his family get out of the cave safely and away from the men? Something fun that did happen in these chapters was we found out that this baby dragon has a name. I thought his name was just Dragon, but it's not. It's Boris. That's a pretty cute name. I also am wondering, if you had your own pet dragon, what would you name him? Would you name him Boris or something else? Thanks for listening. I can't wait to see you again tomorrow. Bye.